hello everybody and welcome to our live meetup. I hope you don't mind, I'm still kind of getting myself situated here. I'm trying to get, the computer going so I can see your comments and all of that stuff. You might also see something kind of weird at the top of the screen. It's because during Seeker's Corner, I totally broke my phone. Like, broke the actual screen, not just the, cover, so kind of bummed. Hi! Excellent. So, I just want to pull up some of the stuff that I have for today. So today, we're taking a little break from Sigil Witchery, and today we're going to be talking about one of two chakras that work with your authenticity and self-expression, and that's your throat chakra and your solar plexus. So today we're going to concentrate on the throat chakra. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it and what it does and how to know if it's kind of off. And I've got some, crystals and all sorts of stuff to talk about it. And we can talk a little bit about your throat chakra and authentic expression and stuff like that. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's so hard to find a stand that will hold my phone. I don't know why. It's what is it? It's an iPhone 6 or 6S, so it's not very heavy. It's not a very heavy phone. It's just, for whatever reason, every single stand or something I get for it, just it either droops and drops it or whatever, so I keep trying to prop it up and I can never get it propped in a way that works really good. So it's just gonna look funky up there for another couple of weeks until I can, fix that, because that was not in the budget. I just got a new screen a couple months ago. Go figure. Sorry, Facebook makes me completely download things and I can't make it bigger. It's my laptop, right? Okay, so like I said, not making it too crazy. Honestly, I'm having a hard time with everything right now. Oh, if you happen to know the link or something, I would love to find it, because I keep looking at stuff on Amazon, but I'm afraid that if I don't try it out first, it's just gonna break like all the other stuff I've bought. Sorry, gotta get some water. We're talking about the throat chakra, right? So, drinking water, tea, anything that contributes to your physical health as far as your throat is concerned is also very good. I've got our throat chakra candle still going, and I've got some incense. It is a eucalyptus incense, which works good with your throat chakra because it's very clearing and cleansing and really fresh and energizing, but also really chill. I love the smell of eucalyptus. Oh wow, that looks neat. The broken phone. Oh, I did it wrong. The broken phone's actually looking kind of cool with smoke and fire, because you can actually see it. Learn something new every day. Wow, you can actually really see the smoke and the fire and stuff. Maybe I'll leave it broken. No, I'm not gonna. But that is a cool unintended perk. We'll put that there. And we will keep the incense over here, just so that I can keep an eye on it. Yeah. And I've got it in my little lamp. My little genie lamp. Cool. Sick. Thank you, Kim. I'm going to check that out for sure. Okay, so I've got a few of you here. So I'm going to kind of start in. So we're talking about authenticity and self-expression over this cycle, this 2-week cycle. And, and they, all of your chakras really contribute to how you express yourself and who you are and stuff like that. But your throat chakra especially is very much the seat of your self-expression, your expression in general, your communication, and your authenticity, your authentic self-expression, and connecting those emotional kind of chakras to your spiritual chakras, keeping that flow connected so that you can speak honest, spiritual, mental, physical, emotional truth. You know what I mean? So today we are going to talk about the throat chakra in particular, and just a little bit everything about it. So the chakras in general, there's a million ways to know if your chakras are out of balance. You might just know, you might just feel it, you might get a Reiki treatment, or any sort of energy healing like Reiki. A lot of those people can tell you if they sense any imbalance. But you can also kind of tell for yourself. So each of our chakras, they present their energy in different ways. So some, it's physical ways. So you might notice something physical in your actual neck, your throat, randomly getting horrible neck pain, or sore throats, or losing your voice all of a sudden. Anything in the back neck spine area there. That could be some physical signs that your throat chakra is out of whack, or it could be a physical problem. You never know. And then there are also some emotional things. So when your throat chakra is working really good and it's well balanced, it's not too overboard, it's not too underboard, you're able to speak the truth and not be afraid of the truth and not be afraid of sharing it. You are really good at setting boundaries, good boundaries, and then actually sticking to them. And that means, you know, sticking to the boundaries in your own actions, not crossing other people's boundaries, but also when other people do cross your boundaries, you're able to assert that without feeling ashamed. You're able to find your voice, speak your thoughts and feelings more often. You're able to share any of your gifts or talents with the world. And even your nonverbal communication is clear, and you're able to read the communication of others. You're also very good at listening when your throat chakra is working, because your throat is not just your throat, you're speaking, it's ears, mouth, kind of neck. It's basically everything from like here down, from the top of the ears to here. But when that is working improperly, all of that stuff kind of becomes harder. So chakras can be overly working or working a lot less. And in other chakras, and in all the chakras, you can usually tell, if you can tell that there's an imbalance, you can usually tell if it's too much chakra or too open or too much energy coming through. You know, the energy isn't balanced between all seven, it's just flowing out. And in those cases, it's, you know, you're saying way too much. You're speaking to fill the silences because you're too uncomfortable. The things you're saying are not representative of the things that you actually feel, but you feel like you need to say them. You're worried, really, really worried about how people are going to react to the things that you say and the things that people say to you, like what their reactions are actually going to be. That's really, really difficult for you. That's actually really difficult for me. So I'm thinking my throat needs a little attention. When I was writing all this out, I'm like, damn, a lot of these like apply to me, so it's good that we're working on it. When your throat chakra is overdoing it, you might find yourself compulsively lying or participating in gossip, especially if you're not really a gossipy person, and then all of a sudden all you can do is talk shit. There might be something happening with your throat chakra there. And if you have a lot of self-doubt, whether you're saying that like, oh, I'm so stupid, or just thinking it to yourself, you're not very nice to yourself. That is more solar plexus, but also happens with the throat chakra, because you have that self-doubt. You doubt your intelligence, so you doubt your ideas. You doubt the things that you are saying, expressing, feeling, all of that kind of stuff. Doubt is a big problem. When there's not enough energy coming through or working with your throat chakra, you know, you'll be unbelievably quiet, just really, really quiet. You'll have nothing to say. You won't know what to say in any situation. And you also have a big, big, big problem listening. Big problem listening. Listening problems like things are going in one ear and out the other, or you're not willing to listen to other people, you're stopping people from talking, you're getting in the way from their ideas, you're interrupting them all the time. All of that could be problems with your throat chakra. And where is it? It's right underneath everything, right? So in crystal healing and sacred pleasure, almost all of this applies to sexuality specifically. So I'm not going to go into all the like sexual problems you might have if your throat chakra is out of whack, but it's basically not being able to express what it is that you want, and not making your needs important. But something that she does say here that I think was really, really great, and I think it's really relatable to a lot of us here in the group. She says, if this chakra is deficient, you may find it difficult to communicate or express sexual desires and needs. And you could even have some trauma that stems from being discouraged from expressing yourself as a child. For example, being ridiculed for an appreciation of the arts, being discouraged from dressing outside of gender stereotypes, or stifling emotion can cause this chakra to be depleted. So, if you grew up in a house or a school or just in an environment where you were constantly being told not to talk, not to share your ideas, that your ideas were stupid, that the way you expressed yourself was wrong, and that's not just the way you speak, but the way you express yourself, the way you push your own energy out there. So that could be the things that you wear, or the way that you do your hair, or the way that you whatever, the way that you walk, your mannerisms, your facial expressions. The way that you express yourself is not right. Having that told to you for so long, it really makes you doubt yourself and doubt all those things about you, and it becomes kind of difficult to tell what is real and what isn't inside yourself. And that's kind of where authenticity comes in. So the throat chakra doesn't just help you express yourself authentically, but it helps you tap into your own authentic needs and wants and desires and goals and thoughts and feelings. If that chakra isn't working, you won't have access to that in order to share it with other people, to bring it out here. So you'll feel very disconnected from who you are. You might feel like you have no idea who you are, or the voice in your head that's you know, your internal voice, it might not be recognizable, or it might not be in line with who you are on the outside. And if your inner voice is not aligned with who you are on the outside, how you're expressing yourself, it's because there's a big disconnect there. But yeah, that particular sentence and those examples, being ridiculed for an appreciation of the arts, happened to me. Being discouraged from dressing outside of gender stereotypes, believe it or not, that did happen to me, because I was a really weird child, and I liked to wear, there was a year where all I wore was a pink ballerina tutu that came with one for Barbie, straight up. But I wore it with but I got it dirty from climbing trees, and I wore ratty shoes or no shoes, and I didn't brush my hair, and I wore men's bike shorts underneath, boys' bike shorts. I constantly got in trouble for not being girly enough, or being too girly, or wearing the wrong things. My emotions were definitely stifled all the time. I wasn't really encouraged to express, especially negative emotions. And that, I've found that is a very common thing, where a lot of people had parents that liked to hear their kid talk when they had something nice to say. You know what I mean? When their kid was talking about how great they're doing, or how great school is going, or how great the relationship is going, the parents were very encouraging and cool. But as soon as that kid had something difficult or harsh or embarrassing to tell their parents, usually that kind of stuff or not usually, but in a lot of situations, those particular emotions are stifled. That happened to me a lot. I wasn't really allowed to, freak out loud. Everyone's got to freak out sometimes. You got to get that stuff out, right? When you don't get that stuff out, you start to think that stuff doesn't need to come out, but that's not the truth. So not being able to stand up for yourself, not being able to say, hey, fuck you, you can't treat me that way, or you can't tell me what to say, you can't tell me how to express myself, you can't tell me how I can look. If you can't do that stuff, it could be a bit of an imbalance in your throat chakra. I don't want to say, if you got bad self-esteem, it's only because of a chakra problem, nothing else happened. That's just not really. But as with all of this magical stuff, I think combining our magical work with our real life work on ourselves and on our environment and stuff like that is important. So, that's why we're looking into the chakras specifically. But if you are having trouble speaking, expressing yourself, you might actually need to be heard. Being heard is also a throat chakra thing. You need to be heard. You need to feel like not only that you're being able to say what you need to say, but that other people are hearing it and absorbing it. So If your throat chakra is out of alignment, out of balance, connecting with a friend, finding someone you can talk with, getting a pen pal, starting a journal, speaking to someone that hears you can be really, really, really soothing for that chakra. Yeah. Women and feminine presenting people, we often are just told, okay, shut up, or we're interrupted, or our ideas aren't good enough, but then if a man puts forth an idea, it's the exact same idea, it's totally cool. That happens a lot. And that stuff kind of weighs on you. And so making sure that your throat chakra is kind of always working and in alignment and balance can be especially beneficial if you're a woman or a feminine presenting person, or just if you're ever in an environment, or if you're regularly in an environment where you're constantly told not to talk, or you're discouraged from sharing ideas, or what have you. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Kat, that's exactly it. I think that's just like a selfish parent thing. I think that's a selfish parent thing. You know, they love to hear that their parenting went well, and so now you're graduating from college, or you're getting married, or whatever other good thing that they like. But if you're struggling, you know, that feels like failure to them, and they don't really want to hear it, and they don't want you to express it, and they want you to just fix it on your own because it's obviously something you created. It couldn't possibly be their fault. It's just a selfish thing. Can you tell I'm mad at my parents right now? Sorry, I'm getting a little personal. I'm going through some shit. Okay, so that is a little bit about the throat chakra and balance and how important it is to keep it balanced, or what balance kind of seems like. Oh, another thing that she mentions in this book is that as far as physical stuff goes, if you find yourself suddenly like really going towards food and drinks for comfort, so I used to have kind of a drinking problem, so that's something I keep an eye on. If all of a sudden I'm like getting really upset and I'm going out and I'm buying a bottle of liquor or something, and I constantly got to be drinking a little bit of booze even if I'm not getting drunk, I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Likewise, if I start like shoveling food in my mouth, like not eating, but just like like oh my god, like really emotionally eating. It's often issues like that. Yeah, don't be so negative then. Ugh, that was one of my mom's favorites. She was constantly calling me negative, and it's like, now when people, if anyone ever calls me negative, like my eye twitches and I'm like, what did you say? Feelings aren't bad, you asshole. Yes, yeah, absolutely. Especially if you ever expressed any like need for help, or toxic positivity. So if you were ever asking for help or trying to let people know that something was wrong, that you needed somebody there for you, you needed some support, and you got that shut down all the time, that can lead to a serious imbalance in your throat chakra. And it's not just that your throat chakra is imbalanced, you know, it's not just this like spinning inanimate wheel that's either good or bad, you know, it's how we can connect to that, you know what I mean? Our chakras are always there, but how well we can connect to that, how well the energy filters through that so that we can use it or harness it or feel it, that is really affected. We also put less priority on that stuff. So when you're constantly told that your ideas are stupid or not to talk or what have you, you stop trying. You stop trying, and so you stop being aware of all of that stuff that's connected to that. And you're no longer aware of your throat chakra. No longer aware of your voice and your self-expression. One thing I noticed was I went through a period where my style really changed. I love comfy clothes. I mean, I'm sure you guys have noticed. But even when I dress up, I like comfy clothes. Like, I like it to be made out of cotton. And for the most part, I like pretty plain clothes because I feel like I'm so obvious and flamboyant naturally just because I'm kind of big and loud. I can't really help that. But for a while, I wore clothes that I did not like. I wore them in a way that I did not like, and I dressed my body in a way that made my body not look good. And like, it was kind of on purpose, but I didn't realize it was on purpose. And I didn't notice anything was fucked up or off until I had a really shitty friend who used to point stuff out that made me uncomfortable all the time. Used to, right? Used to have a friend. And one day she was like, you know, your style is really weird. Because, like, in the summer, you seem like you know, you're wearing, like, short shorts and, like, you know, little tie-up tops, and you're comfortable, and everything, you know, looks great. She's like, and then in the wintertime, you turn into this, like, hermit, and you look like a librarian, you've got all these, like, layers. She's like, it's like your boobs become, like, 3 cup sizes smaller because you just cover them up. And I was sitting there, and I was so mad, and I'm like, it's because I'm fucking depressed. Like... Like, how do you not realize that I'm wearing, like, depression outfits and not depression outfits? And it really bothered me that I felt like my style and how I presented myself was so vastly different throughout the year. And I really, like, when I looked at pictures of myself through the winter, I was like, oh, that's really, like, that doesn't really actually look like me at all. I'd start paying more attention to that. And I have recently. Just in the last year, I started, like, expressing myself with my style and makeup a little bit more, just because I was like, oh, I haven't been doing this. Let's do some of that. What do we got going here, Kat? Yes. It's all about balance. All about balance. So as far as balancing your throat chakra goes, what's really cool is that there's a lot that you can do for this one that's kind of fun. Of course, there's crystals and stuff like that, but this chakra's neat because it really, really responds to creative expression and listening. So doing any sort of listening to some guided meditations that work for your throat chakra are really great. Speaking out loud is really good for your throat chakra. So I firmly believe that the podcasting has really, really helped balance out my throat chakra. And I often feel when I'm going through these periods when I don't think it's working so well, there are times when I've taken some time off from the podcast, or I've been sharing stuff that's not quite as personal. I felt like my throat chakra was working real great during the last episode, right? Just flowed. But it doesn't always have to be out loud. You don't have to be talking out loud. You can be writing, journaling. I've got a few journal prompts here that I'm going to share with you guys that are great for kind of analyzing and working with your throat chakra. ASMR. Yeah, ASMR is really, really great. So your throat chakra isn't just like this tiny hole right here, right? It's this entire kind of area. So it's your ears, and it's how you hear, and it's your neck, and it's the back of your neck, and your mouth, and all of that. So ASMR, and I know what it means, but I cannot. Autosomic. Anyways, ASMR is this kind of phenomenon where certain trigger certain sounds or visual things or what have you will trigger this kind of tingly feeling, like in the back of your neck here. When I was younger, I always associated it with, okay, so let's say you're sitting there with your friend, right? I'm picturing myself on the playground. And maybe they're drawing or writing something, or even if they're like drawing on your arm, for some people, those little ticklies, you'll get that here. But you hear them just kind of breathing. They do stuff that they don't even realize they're doing. They're just in a totally natural state, and it's like you're not even really there, but you are getting this full experience that they're kind of creating, I guess. I don't know. It's really hard to explain, but I always associated it with sitting there quietly with a friend and watching them do something right near me. I always loved watching friends write or draw something, and you see that moment, you know, where they kind of forget that someone's in front of them and they're just drawing, and then they'll do that stuff that they don't realize they do, the or that or they'll make silly faces or something. That always kind of made me tingle. And I found a kind of witchy ASMR channel I can share with you guys if you guys are interested. It's called The Loon Innate. She's on YouTube. She's really cool. Some of her ASMR is a little bit more it's chatty. She does like conversations kind of like this, but then she also does ASMR-y, you know, sounds while she's doing that, which I like. I think it's really neat. And in other ones, she's just she's filming like a Reiki session or a Reiki session or something. So it's really neat. But yeah, ASMR and binaural beats, which I've kind of got going here. I've got frequencies for each chakra. Tibetan singing bowls. What's cool about singing bowls? Not only is it the sound, the note, which is the note G that goes with your throat. Not only is it that note that works, that kind of lines up with your chakra frequency, but I always physically feel the singing bowls. Like I feel it like go up or down my spine. It's always just like, oh, I feel it in my back first. And you can get singing bowls in different notes. Even if you don't have perfect pitch, you can't find that on your own. If you go to a store where they do sell singing bowls, you can find out if it's the note G or if it's specifically for the throat chakra. They can usually tell you. And like I said, that will work whether you have the perfect pitch or not, as long as you can get the singing bowl to work, which I never can. Never can. Likewise, any sort of, you know, oh, it's such a nice, I love the nice clear ring. Music, bells, sound clearing, drumming, any of that really helps. That's a way of bouncing energy around, right? Sound kind of clears everything else out, and there's just this kind of wall of sound around you, like a nice little protective shell of sound. And it also feels like it really moves through you, and it's very cleansing. So sound is really, really great for balancing your throat chakra, and anything to do with music. So even if you're dancing, singing along with music that makes you feel really good or really happy, and where you don't sing it from your head, you sing it from your chest, as my music teacher used to say. You know, you open up your ribs a little bit. Singing can really help, and I totally do that. I will put on my favorite songs to sing along with. Like I have a whole playlist of that when I feel like I'm having a really hard time with all of this stuff. And it's like, I can't sing like those women. Like I'm talking like Amy Winehouse and Aretha Franklin. I don't sound like Aretha, but but singing those really like powerful, awesome songs, they really help me feel very like cleared out. And I notice that when I'm doing that, when I'm writing or, you know, doing stuff for work, doing stuff for the podcast where I'm expressing myself, creating any sort of graphics or something for my website, all of that self-expression stuff, if I have music going that I'm singing along with, I always get things done a little bit better, a little bit quicker, and I always feel like they just represent me more. I have to have music playing when I do stuff, right? I'm a very throat chakra person, I guess. Actually, it says in my like astrology, in my birth chart, that I'm a very throat chakra person. And I was like, oh, that's real funny since I'm a podcaster. I guess that's the truth. What else do we have? Oh, right. I just remembered that I have other things. I have other materials here. Which reminds me that I have some stuff to share in the group with y'all. Okay, so working with your throat chakra. So we've got speaking, we've got singing, we've got music. There's all sorts of really fun ways. In here, she has a whole exercise that's more sexually based, if you want to do that. And then, of course, there are crystals that work really, really great with the throat chakra. And all of these work really well as jewelry. So you might notice, I don't know if you guys can see, these tiny little square earrings. These are Lapis Lazuli, which is a throat chakra stone. And I try to wear these whenever I'm filming or talking, doing the podcast. It just helps me feel connected. And I also have this necklace, which is chrysocolla. And I've got a bigger piece of chrysocolla here so you guys can actually kind of see it. I don't know if it's going to let me show it to you. I never know what's going on, right, with the light in this room. Yeah. So it's a green and a blue all swirled together, very turquoisey color. It's one of my favorites. One of my favorites ever. And this, I feel like, is a really great throat and heart chakra connection stone. So I feel like chrysocolla really helps you speak from the heart, connect with your emotions, and to not be embarrassed by your emotions. You know, do you guys ever feel that? Like, I really want to share this deep emotional thing because it's really relevant or appropriate, or I think this person would love it, but I'm really afraid to share something so real about myself. That little bit of fear, that can be associated with the throat chakra, and I find that the chrysocolla helps me get over that. So that's why I like to wear it as a necklace and earrings. So let's go back to the Lapis Lazuli for a second here. Lapis Lazuli is, and I wish I had a bigger piece to show you, it's really neat. If you find a nice round piece of Lapis Lazuli, it kind of looks like you're looking at the planet Earth from outer space. That's what it looks like to me. So it's blue, and there's like a rocky color, and there's white, and there's flecks of gold all through it. It's really, really pretty. And to me, it looks like looking at the planet from up in the cosmos. And to the ancient Egyptians, it was kind of the other way around. That stone represented the night sky to them, as well as a connection to and a power from the gods. So pharaohs would wear lapis lazuli. Who was he? We were talking about the Egyptian, maybe we weren't, maybe I was talking about it in the podcast. The Egyptian god of the sky and the stars, who had a beard of lapis lazuli. But yeah, it was one of the most prized and used minerals in ancient Egypt. They used it for magic, for medicine, for color because of the blue. They used it to make dyes. And they would wear it to keep themselves safe. They were buried with it, again, to keep themselves safe, to bring them to the afterworld, to connect themselves with the gods. So lapis lazuli, it encourages honesty in both spoken and written word, because writing is what we're going to get to next, is a big one for the throat chakra. So what does it say? Invites calm, loving communications in homes with temperamental teenagers, which some of you might need. Promotes self-awareness and inner acceptance. Allows difficult emotions to surface and releases repressed anger. It encourages dignity in friendship and social interactions, which is a big one. Provides clarity about your life purpose and direction. So, like I said, your throat connects your head and your heart. And like literally, but it connects your intellectual self with your emotional self. Likewise, your spiritual self with your physical self. It kind of bridges the gap between higher and lower. It's kind of actually your midpoint. You'd think it would be kind of the heart or the guts, but it's really this throat. So, in order to be connected to your life's purpose or your direction or your true goals, right, you have to be connected to what it is you really feel and want, and your confidence and all of these things. So if your throat is out of alignment, you're not going to be able to intellectually connect with all those other things to be able to see your life purpose or to be able to kind of get on that path. So it's pretty important when you think about it in that particular area. Reveals limitations and opportunities for growth to help one use their unique gifts. Using your gifts and talents is a big one with the throat chakra. Promotes creative problem solving. It enhances intellectual ability and memory, brings harmony in relationships. Beneficial for menstrual irregularities. That's pretty cool. It stimulates desire for knowledge and understanding and assists in the process of learning. That's exactly why I wear it in earrings whenever I'm doing any of this work, because that is all the stuff that I'm trying to do, right? I'm trying to find my life purpose. I am trying to discover and use my unique gifts. I'm trying to grow as a person. I'm trying to, bring harmony with me and with other people and with the planet. So lapis is like it's one of my favorites as far as throat stones go, and I never get big chunks. I always just get little pieces for jewelry. It's really odd. I'm gonna have to buy myself a nice piece that I can actually like hold in my hands and show you. Oh, this next one's cool. And it's cool because I actually have it in a pendulum. Pendulums are an awesome method of divination that connects with your throat chakra. Which is why both my pendulums are blue. Oh, I forgot to mention that the color of this throat chakra is blue. I think you might have figured it out. But they're both blue because I really feel like this is a throat chakra activity, is the pendulum. And this one is made of Amazonite, so named after the Amazons, Wonder Woman. So named after the Amazons, the Amazonians, the female soldiers. Legend claims that some of these warriors elected to remove one breast to improve archery skills. They would rub their wounds with a polished Amazonite stone to avoid infection. It was celebrated as a stone of courage and used to heal injuries and illnesses of all kinds. Interesting, right? This is one of my favorite communication stones. And I think I have loose pieces as well. I give them away. Amazonite is one that I give as gifts quite frequently. Yeah, I got 2 pieces. They're small, but it's on purpose. So these ones are a little bit brighter of a color, so you can kind of see them a little bit better. Yeah, right? So what these are great for is Mercury retrograde. Amazonite is an awesome communication stone, a clear communication stone. So I keep it in my pocket and one on my computer. That's why I have these 2 little ones. During Mercury retrograde for the whole thing, I've given it to my sister and to other members of the family just in case. And it helps you communicate. It keeps outside influences from, affecting how you express yourself, like keeping other people's expression out your mouth, and it's a lot about balance in general. Amazonite is a very balancing stone. So what it says here is it awakens compassion and allows perspective to see both sides of an issue, because listening is big. Encourages acceptance of different points of view. Aids in overcoming loneliness. Increases self-esteem and curbs tendencies to self-neglect. Encourages happy marriage, which is cute. Enhances effective communication and helps one choose their words wisely. Assists in setting appropriate boundaries to establish healthy relationships. It's a powerful talisman of healing and prosperity, and it treats sexual disorders such as lack of desire, impotence, and sexual obsession. It's from the Crystal Healing book, of course. But that's why I like to have it in a pendulum. This is a pendulum that I often use for or with other people lately. To me, it's very much in a connection stone, a stone about connecting with other people, how you communicate with others. And seeing aids in overcoming loneliness, that makes me laugh because that's how it feels. So Amazonite is really cool, and you can definitely get that in a lot of different pendulums or pieces of jewelry. What's another one? Oh, that's right. Labradorite. I think my actual Labradorite is over there, but Galaxyite works here too. So Labradorite is Canadian. It's from Labrador. We found the Labrador. And the ancient Inuit believed that Labradorite fell from the frozen fire of the Aurora Borealis. Cool, right? Explaining its extraordinary shimmer, which seems to separate our waking world from that of the unseen. Considering the matriarch of the subconscious mind, Labradorite considered the matriarch of the subconscious mind, Labradorite continues to be revered by spiritual shamans, healers, and divinators for its abilities to enhance intuition and connect us with higher realms. This is a stone I often call moonstone for the new moon. It is a feldspar, so it's the same kind of family as moonstone, which is why it's got that pretty little shine. But it's definitely got like more of a deeper kind of vibe to it, more of that new moon vibe than the full moon vibe, which is very like, the new moon is much more internal. Still powerful, but more internal. So Labradorite enables us to understand an energy field without entering it or absorbing its conditions. It reduces antisocial, reckless, and impulsive behavior, provides moral strength for those who are easily led by others, awakens a sense of adventure to remove the emotional drain of daily routine and responsibility, protects from negativity and misfortune, uplifts while banishing fears and enhancing trust in the universe, merges intellectual thought with intuitive wisdom to dispel illusion and understand the root causes of any issues or situations. Enhances faith and reliance on oneself, and finally, beneficial for uniting the entire chakra system. And there are actually a few crystals that are like that. Blue kyanite is another one that's mentioned here, and that's really great for balancing all of your chakras. Aquamarine, one of my absolute faves, right? I just love it. Aquamarine is again a really good connection with your heart, so it's a very heart and throat stone, very oceany. Helps with emotional type issues in a very soft and loving way. When it comes to listening and being able to speak with others and hear the thoughts and feelings of others, like if you feel like your own throat chakra imbalance is making you clamp down on other people, that's what I like angelite for. It not only helps you connect to your inner voice and your spirit guides and all of that, but it makes you better at communicating with others, listening to others, and seeing what they have to say as valuable and as good and angelic and lovely. Makes you a nicer person, I guess. So there's lots of different crystals that you can use to work with your throat chakra, and you can use them in all different ways. If you find like crystal water bottles that have any of these kinds of crystals in it, those are really cool. You can make crystal elixirs. You can buy crystal elixirs if you want, jewelry, or even just meditating with the crystals. You know, when you lay down, if you lay down to meditate, put one there, even just right at the base of the neck there if it's uncomfortable. Really, really fun. The last thing is writing and journaling. Now, I am the first one to remember that journaling sucks ass sometimes, and that being forced to journal can be difficult, and it can be really hard to get into a pattern to actually write in a journal every single day. I know all that, but I'm still going to tell you to do it. So over the last month, I've actually successfully filled a whole journal. And I didn't always know exactly what I wanted to say. I pulled cards. Every day I pull cards. Now, every morning, every night, or sometimes in the middle of the day, I'll do a more, a larger reading that's not just about the day. And I'll write all that into this journal, and in between the cards, I'll write down my own notes, my own feelings, my own everything that kind of goes along with the cards. What has that brought up? What am I sorry, trying to find our comments. What does this bring up? What does this make me think of? And I've found that it's super helpful. It's really great. And even on days when I feel like I don't have anything to write myself, because of the cards, I have something to write. I have something to go with, and I have stuff to share and to remember. So, notebooks are fun. This one's blue just because I was going to go with a purple one again, but then I was like, oh, throat chakra. I bought a bunch of these at the dollar store. They've got hard sides and lined pages, and they never get all tangled. They're the Dollarama if you're in Canada. But I found that to be super, super helpful. It really helped me clarify my feelings. And a lot of these cards that I've been pulling, and I've been using the magic of magic of flowers. Oh my God. My brain, right? It's just off. I've been using the Magic of Flowers deck pretty consistently. I don't know why. It just, all of a sudden one day I was like, that's the one I want to use, and I haven't been able to really switch to anything else yet. But a lot of these cards actually speak about being your authentic self and expressing your authentic self and not being afraid to say the things that you need to say. And a lot of them have also spoken about journaling and writing down your feelings. So a lot of times, like these two cards, this one means don't be afraid to assert your boundaries. Don't be afraid to speak up for yourself. This is the time you need to be the one that stands up for yourself. Whereas this one here is more like, okay, it's time for you to kind of assess your feelings. Sit down, write in your journal. Figure out exactly what it is you're thinking or feeling. Don't speak yet. Think first. And so that's been really great and really helpful. And what I'm finding through that is that I'll write something that I've never said to myself or out loud and just be like, oh my God, that's actually the truth. Like I didn't even realize I thought that or I felt that way, but that's definitely how I actually feel. So it's helped me get in touch with a lot of different thoughts and feelings and emotions that I didn't really know were in there. As well, I just, I understand, I don't know. What am I trying to say? Of course I can't speak. Here, we'll do this. How many of these crystals can I hold at one time? It's not that I'm having trouble expressing myself. It's more that lately I've had, or before I started the journaling, I had a hard time thinking that some of this stuff that I wanted to express out loud needed to be out loud. Like I thought I could just think things and feel them and I didn't ever have to say them or write them down or anything. But I found that writing them out makes them real and it makes it easier for me to understand and understand myself. It makes it easier for me to say to other people. When I see it written down, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's legit. That's really what I feel or really what I think or that's really, whatever. Later on, I'm much more confident in myself because I've already said this. I might not have said it to another person, but I've said it. It's real. It's already come out. This is it. It really is helpful. So, yeah, journaling. I know it can eat shit. Don't worry. But if you guys like the idea of journaling with your throat chakra, I've been finding a whole bunch of stuff on Pinterest, of course, that I'll share in the group, but a few of the kind of journal prompt questions that you can think of. Do I express myself clearly and honestly most of the time? So if you're constantly like saying the thing or explaining the thing, but no one ever understands what you're saying, that's an issue. And it might just be you, or it might just be them, or it might be your throat chakra. Another one is it safe for me to express myself all the time? Are there situations where you feel that it's not safe to express yourself honestly and authentically? What are those situations and what exactly about that makes you feel unsafe? Where is it here? Oh, am I sharing all of my skills and talents with the world? Am I sharing my messages, my skills, my talents? Am I living this life purpose? Do I have an outlet to express myself? Do I feel inspiration? And when I do feel inspiration, do I act on it? And how do I act on inspiration? What are the things that inspire me? Am I honest with myself? Am I honest with other people? And is there a difference? Do I express my needs and desires in appropriate ways at appropriate times? And then there's authenticity. Am I genuine? Am I expressing myself in a way that is authentic to who I am or who I want to be? Do I respect others when they are authentically expressing themselves? Can I tell the difference between authentic expression and inauthentic or shallow or hollow or lying, whatever expression? Dishonest expression, I guess. Like I said, I'll definitely post that in the group for you guys. But writing out a lot of this stuff, writing out your feelings, can be a really, really great way of getting that out without necessarily having to say it out loud. Not everyone can talk out loud, right? Not everyone can talk out loud. Not everyone can hear. that's okay. There are still ways to work with your throat chakra. Oh, another fun one was learning other languages. So even if you don't do well, the act of learning other languages stimulates your throat chakra, and it stimulates that connection to learning and connecting to other people, and, you know, bringing all the parts of yourself and the world kind of together. So if you've ever considered, you know, casually learning another language, like on Duolingo or something like that, if you feel like your throat chakra is out of balance, or is, you know, very weak, it's not working a lot, or there's too much coming through and it's not being channeled properly, learning a new language, like I said, even if you're kind of bad at it, don't worry, can help stimulate all of that energy coming through. Yeah, whole jug. Trying to drink more water. Actually, I'm trying to drink less coffee, but trying to drink less coffee. So more water is the solution I've come up with. You know, friends, I think that was everything I had about the throat chakra today. Unless you guys have questions. Oh, like I said, I'm going to be putting a whole bunch of stuff in the group. I might make... No, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know if the photo albums thing actually works. I was going to say maybe I'll make a throat chakra photo album, but it's going to end up with 5 pictures in it. It's be annoying. But I will post a whole bunch of this stuff, these notes, onto the group later. If you want to learn a little bit about chakras and flowers, we did talk about that last year. Remember, we talked about flowers one month. I believe it was the month of May last year because, you know, May flowers. And in there, I covered a flower that works well with each chakra. And I went back and checked it. The flower for the throat chakra is one of my absolute faves. And it's funny because I often think of this as a third eye flower, but every time it's like, nope, it works best with the throat. I'm like, oh, it does. So Morning Glory is that flower. Now, Morning Glory is a good third eye flower. So it very much connects your throat with your psychic senses, so it can help you communicate your psychic feelings, your psychic abilities better. If you very much struggle to trust and believe in your psychic abilities, Morning Glory can help you work with that. That could also be a throat chakra issue. If you are constantly worried about sounding crazy when you express your spirituality, it's because there is a disconnect between your spiritual chakras and your throat and the rest of you. And Morning Glory can help with that. So you can spend time with Morning Glory outside. You can plant it in your garden. Or even just working with the imagery is really, really great. So that is Morning Glory from the Magic of Flowers, isn't it? Really pretty. I like that through the archway it is daytime and then you have nighttime all around. Morning Glory is a very magical flower. So you can still find that PDF in the file section if you guys want the chakra flowers thing. So I've still got a few of you here and we're coming up to the end. If you guys have any questions or anything you want to share, if there's anything about self-expression, authenticity that you have questions about, that you want to talk about, if you have any throat chakra stories, please feel free to share. Yeah, there's no stupid answers or anything. Everything's great. The most important thing about authentic self-expression is that it's you, and you are happy to express something that is you, that expresses who you are, that shows who you are to the world, and that someone else doesn't create for you. You know, it has to be something that you really want. So if you find yourself dressing like a frumpy librarian half of the year and that doesn't seem like you, think about why you feel the need to express yourself that way. If let's say your style has not been working for you lately, you feel like the way you dress in general doesn't work. Maybe the way you talk, some of the vocabulary you use, maybe you don't have a varied enough vocabulary, or maybe you don't have enough like kind of simple words, or maybe you use too much slang. Working on any of those kinds of ways that you express yourself, even those kind of mundane physical ways, can also help balance out your throat chakra, or at least let you know if there's problems. Through the journaling and stuff like that, you should be able to figure out if your chakras are working in a way that works best for you. But if not, like I said, Reiki people, what is the word? Reiki practitioners? I can't believe that is it. It's a Reiki practitioner, Reiki master, Reiki whatever. Reiki people and energy people who work with your chakras can also tell you if they're out of balance, or if there's a problem, or if there's too much coming out, or what have ya. All of that. Okay, so thank you all so much. Oh, yeah, you know what? It's weird. It's weird how much something like the color of your hair how much that can affect everything. You know what I mean? Like I often feel like when I let my natural color grow in, which actually isn't much different than this, it's just a little uglier. It's still pretty red. I often feel like all my clothes fit better, my makeup looks better. It's not always like that, but sometimes. And I like gray hair. I think it's cool. I don't know if I'll get gray hair. My mom went completely gray when she was 18, so I kind of expected that, and it hasn't happened. So I don't know if I'll get gray hair, but I like to think that I'd be excited about it and I'd rock it. So good for you for rocking it, because it still takes guts to do that. It still takes a lot of guts to have your gray hair. This stone, Chrysocolla, Allison, this stone is also associated with aging gracefully and appreciating your beauty throughout your different ages. You know what I mean? Like connecting the joy you feel about your youthful beauty to the feelings of your natural older beauty. So you might want to look into that stone. It's also associated with wisdom and like wise women, like like wise medicine women and stuff like that. It's a lot like turquoise like that. It's very similar. So you might want to check that one out. But yeah, good for you. That's dope. That's real dope. I'm glad you guys came today. Yeah, I think you'd really like it. In general, it's one of my favorite crystals just ever. This tiny little point, I spent $50 on this point. Okay, I just want to show you something. So this point 10 years ago was $50, and I bought this giant like boulder for like $12 last year. Crystals definitely go through like periods of trendiness. So, but I saw it online, and for 2 straight weeks, I thought about this stupid pendant. I thought about it and thought about it every time I shut my eyes. There it was, and I just had to order the stupid $50 pendant that I couldn't afford. And it's cracked and shattered a million times, but I can't stop. I can't stop. I need it. It's why I bought this big one. It's just in case I can't wear the point. To me, it is one of the best stones I've ever used for expressing myself. Like I almost feel like, so my aura is kind of a bluish color, according to people who read that sort of thing. I don't know anymore. I know it changes. But last I heard, it was kind of like this kind of bluish color, with some purple up here and some orange down here. But that blue is really, I'm like, oh, cool, okay. And when I wear the Chrysocolla, I often feel like it's like that blue aura is almost actually like visible or palpable. Like I can feel that blueness right there. And I'm not someone who can see auras. Sometimes I can sense them, but I can't really see them. But when I'm wearing the Chrysocolla, I feel like it's almost like a force field that I can manipulate and maneuver and use almost like a part of my body. You know what I mean? I feel like I can lasso you in with this blue energy. And that happens every time I wear this crystal. It really connects your throat and your heart really, really well. It helps me express myself all the time. I wear this when I record as well as this, and I've had it since before I even started the podcast. Yeah. So yeah, I highly recommend chrysocolla. It's never listed with throat chakra stones, and I have no idea why. It's one of my absolute faves. So, all right, I'm going to let you guys go so I can get back to work. I'm going to be posting stuff in the group as soon as I'm done here. My laptop's already out. So keep an eye on the group there. If you guys want to continue any of this discussion, if you want to share anything you do or meditations that you find, ASMR channels that you like, music, playlists, anything that works with your throat chakra, please feel free to post that in the group at any time. Next month, we're going to have another meetup like this, but we're going to talk all about our solar plexus chakra, and I think that one will be a lot of fun too. So I hope you guys all have a really, really great rest of your day or evening. I've got a podcast episode coming out tomorrow about visualization and imagination. Remember we talked about that. So, you know, tune into that tomorrow or sometime on the weekend. Likewise, I will see you guys next weekend, or next week, when we'll be picking back up with sigil witchery. I'm going to be working on some sigils this weekend, I hope. I hope. That's what I'm planning to do. I want to be very creative this weekend. I feel like I need to let my artsiness bust out. Maybe it's all this throat chakra talk. So, bye everybody. Have a really good night.